What is up guys, ThePremiumRat here, welcome to episode 1 of the Watford career mode. That is right, I've always wanted to do a career mode with Watford and now they've got themselves a Premier League spot. I thought it'd be a perfect opportunity to show off the local boys. Obviously I live near Watford, you know, I'm from there, I was born there, and so it's a perfect opportunity for me to show them off. I believe that was 13.5 mil transfer budget, but as well as our 60% increase. I was umming and ahhing about whether to actually deploy that at the start, but we thought it would help us along the way because this is going to be a massive challenge considering we are playing on Legendary. So I thought I'd give myself an extra 60%, which bumped it up to about 21 mil, I think it was as well, which is fairly decent. So not only is this an introduction to Watford career mode, this is just basically an introduction to FIFA 16. Let me know if you want me to do another Spurs one, because I don't know whether I want to kick the arse out of it and do Spurs again, but please tell me if you want me to do more. There will be an Inter Milan or Valencia career mode going up on Saturday, so please let me know which one of the two you prefer, Inter Milan or Valencia. I could potentially do both over the course of FIFA 16, but we'll see what it is. We're going to be cracking on with Watford nonetheless. Our next job then was, well, our first job was to choose which pre-season tournament to go into. We went with the left-hand one there, basically because the calibre of players, the calibre of teams was a little bit lower than the other two, so I thought we'd have a better chance of winning it, and obviously if we do win it, and the further we do progress, we get more money onto our transfer funds. And once we'd sorted all that shit out, we had a couple of emails from the board. The first one was to say our league objective was to finish mid-table, which was a bit of a shock. Cup competitions, they wanted the last 16. It wasn't too much of a big deal. And this final one was just to let us know that we've been drawn in a group with Braga, Sassuolo and Hanover in the pre-season tournament. But the mid-table finish in the league surprised me a little bit, considering this is Legendary, considering this is Watford, and they've only just come up. And realistically, in real life, their only objective this season is to stay up, and so for us to get mid-table was a little bit of a shock, but gives us a bit of a challenge, and I'm looking forward to that. Anyway, then we went on the transfer list, scouted a few players, but before we bought any players, I wanted to try and get rid of some kind of dead wood out of the club. Watford have got a fairly decent squad. They've got the best squad out of the promoted sides, but immediately we listed up Gil Martin, and as much as it pains me to do it, I had to transfer list Lloyd Doyley as well. I know he's a club legend, but he's sitting and he's worth £1 million, so if we can get £1 million for him, that was decent. Other than that, I was just looking through, listed up a couple of the youngsters. I think it was Favili, is that Jakubiak, I think that's how you pronounce his name, and then Bernard Mensah. We just loaned them out all season. And other than that as well, we looked at our centre-backs, because we've got about 700 of them, and I was just generally just looking at their stats. I know we're going to start with Prodl. I think he's one of our best centre-backs, but eventually we decided to loan out Alfie Young as well, just to get a few more players off the wage. So after tinkering with the squad a little bit, and this is what we had. Ignore the players that are in the positions right now, because this isn't going to be our final squad. We're going to be buying and selling a lot more players, but this is the formation that we settled on, and the plan is obviously to abuse Ibarbo as much as possible. So we're going to move him into that striker role, and as a result of that, I'm going to have to buy a few wingers just to replace the right wing, left wing role in which he would be currently situated, and obviously then we can play him through the middle and abuse the pace as much as possible. As well as that, they wanted me to actually look for some centre mids, because our centre midfield is a little bit weak. We've got Capoue, we've got Barami, Abdi, a couple of players like that, Ben Watson in the rotation, but as a whole we don't really have one that stands out. There are a few that are good, but not really one that stands out. So this is where we were just kind of going through, scouting a few players. First few were Tielemans and Rugani, I think that's how you pronounce his name. He was a young centre back from Juventus, but the main guy I wanted to get in was this fella, Juan Iturbi from Roma. He linked up with Ibarbo last season when they were there, and obviously that will be wicked, because then he can come in at right wing and I can move Ibarbo to the striker. But most of these players you'll see here, we're not actually going to sign. I was just kind of having a look around. We also looked at Jamie Vardy, we looked at Eric Dyer, and this one here we looked at Dele Alli as well, because we know how much potential he's got. Other than that as well, we looked at a few centre-backs, mainly Musacchio from Villarreal. But he's decent, and so he was going to be out of our price range. And the other one, again, a lot like Musacchio, plays in Spain. We looked at Martinez from Real Sociedad, but again, they wanted like 20 million for him or something like that, because so the deal was never really going to get pushed through. A couple other players we had to look at then was Kevin Wimmer, obviously just come in from Cologne, plays at Spurs now, and then the other ones were more kind of attacking options. We had a look at Julian Brandt from Leverkusen. I know know how much of a good player he is. He can play left wing, he can play left mid, he can play striker as well, so he's going to be a little bit versatile. We actually bumped in a 1 million bid for him only because we couldn't inquire anymore, and so I thought I'd just fucking put in a 1 mil bid just to keep the ball rolling. We also had a look at Ruben Neves. Again, they wanted us to sign a centre mid. He's young, he's got an unbelievable potential, and so that he kind of meets a lot of the criteria in which we are looking for. And we also looked at Timo Werner. I believe he was the last one we actually looked at before cracking on with some deals. Again, we put in another £1 million bid in for him just to keep the ball rolling. But as I said, you know, Martinez and Masaccio were a little bit out of our price range, so we binned Masaccio straight away. But we did actually tempt Real Sociedad with a cheeky offer. They wanted like 19 million, I think it was. So we put in 5.5 and added Belkalem to the transfer. It was never going to happen, but crazier things have happened on career mode. In terms of Juan Iturbi, they wanted £8.5 million for him, but none of these players, then we're not going to give them their full value. So we put in £4 million for him. The youngster Daniele, or is it Daniele or Danielle Rugani, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. They didn't really specify how much they wanted, and so we just whacked in a 3.5 mil bid in. And of course, Tielemans now, he's a year older, he's a lot better. And Elect wanted 14 mil, so we put in 7.5 for him. And then finally, we tried to bag Julian Brandt on loan. That was out of those kind of deals. And then a little bit later on, we put in a bid for Neves. We put in that 1 million bid to start with. They didn't want that. They wanted, I think it was like 5 mil in the end, but we put in 2.5. And that was you know, concluded a bit of the transfer action for now. We then went on to the little bit of training. There's a new feature in FIFA 16 career mode, and that is where you're able to train your players manually, or you can simulate it through. I'm just going to be simming it through because otherwise it's going to take me a lot of time to build up those players. And I've been doing it with a few of the first team players now, but I think I've learned that it's better to do it with the youngsters. So if you're looking to train players, do it with your youngsters, especially the ones with the big potential, you know, growths. Get them on the training, smash that, and hopefully they will grow for you. Anyway, then this is our first pre-season game into this pre-season tournament. Then we've been drawn up against Sassuolo, Braga and Hanover in our group, and this is the first game against Sassuolo, and we got off to an absolutely blinding start. Our front three was Ibarbo, Dini at strike, and then Anya on the left wing with Abdi in midfield, with Capu, with Barami. It was pretty much our strongest 11. We then had Gomez, Nyom, Prodl, Cathcart and Holbas, I think it was, at left back. So this would be pretty much our first team squad, first 11 if we didn't sign or buy or sell any players. We got off to a great start. Ibarbo running down the wing, whipping it in, and Abdi from Cam helping it forward. He actually ends up fucking coming off the keeper's head. Not sure how he didn't save that, to be fair to him, but he was on hand to stick it into the back of the net, and we went 1-0 up after about, that was barely 3 minutes gone, so it was a really good start. Then not much happened, to be fair, during the rest of that first half. But again, early in the second half, just like the first half, we had a great start to the half. This time it was Anya down the opposite wing doing really well. Barami released him down the left wing, and he drilled it in with his left foot all the way across the box. And there's the man, the captain, the legend, that is Troy Deeney, sliding in, beating the defender, and sticking it past the keeper to make it 2-0, doubled our lead. Then we had a couple of chances to kill this game off. I believe that was Diamante we brought on, whipped it over the top, and Deeney one-on-one really should have scored, and it came out to Anya, and I thought we'd scored, but you'll see in a minute via the replay that he was in fact offside. But we were tearing Sassuolo apart, and I had to double check that it actually was on Legendary, because you guys know how shit I am actually at career mode. But you know, maybe it's because I've played it now for a year, I'm getting better. But Sassuolo were pretty dog shit, to be fair. Anyway, then just before the 60th minute, Prodl was getting run ragged by this little fella all afternoon, and he's tearing down the left hand side, and I didn't really mean to foul him, I only wanted to block the cross, but as a result we did actually make enough contact for him to go down, and he'd already been booked, and he managed to bag himself a second yellow card, and he's going to go in and have an early shower. But you know, that was, I think it was about 60 minutes gone, so we had half an hour to kind of hold on and get 3 points at the start of this group. But as a result of that free kick and that red card, they whip it in straight away. No idea what Wooden Hands Gomez is doing. He comes out, fucking punches midair, and one of their defenders or one of their players, I'm not sure who it was actually, I don't know what his name is. What's his name? Simone Missiroli, I think it's how you pronounce it. It's an absolutely bodge of a pronunciation, but he headed it in anyway. But it was Gomez's fault. He didn't have a clue what he was doing. They then, about 70 minutes gone, they had a fantastic opportunity to equalise. No idea where my defence was, but he put it wide. But we sustained a little bit of pressure, and late on we actually did manage to kill this game off. Ibarbo drilling in the corner to Piggy Capu on the edge of the box, takes one touch with his right foot, and smashes it home past the keeper with his left foot to give us our first victory. You know, I've done well to get us off to a good start, but obviously, ultimately, this means nothing because it's a pre-season game, but it's good to get off to your first game, first win, and we thoroughly deserved it. Sassuolo were pretty dog shit, and we deserved the 3 points. So anyway, guys, that is pretty much it. If you have enjoyed this video, if you could smash the like button, that would be absolutely brilliant. If we could hit 100 likes or something like that, that would be wicked. If you are new around here, please subscribe. If you are not already following me on Twitter, the link to that will be down in the description. Please let me know whether you want me to do another Spurs career mode, because I'm not really sure at the moment. I don't really want to, but if there's enough demand for it, I will. And as well, please in the comments section, let me know whether you want me to do Valencia or Inter Milan or both, because I don't really want to stick to the mainstream teams. I want to do, you know, a challenge kind of side, like Watford, but in a different league. I want to do a foreign league. So, again, if you've enjoyed the video, I love you all. Please smash the like button. I'd really appreciate it. Share it around. Tell your friends. Tell your grandma. And apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow with another episode of the Watford Career Mode. Goodbye.